Hey, welcome back. We're at Misty Mountain Games for the winter finals. We are in our first round of top eight, and on our left we got Peter McGrain on Sligh and Caleb Durward on Black White Control. I'm joined here by Mike Heup,
Hey everyone.
the
So
Cloud Girl Ranger.
yeah, we just raffled off our last items. I do think there were a few online winners, so we'll reach out to you if you were one of those people. But I think most of our people were the winners were people that were at the tournament. But some cool items and some
Yep,
money raised for Briar Patch. Uh, yeah, but here
always
we're
awesome.
here we're in our top eight. I guess.
Thanks to everybody who took part.
Yeah, we'll show you the top eight graphic like when probably these players are sideboarding in between games one and two. But we do have an exciting top eight. We have a number of players that we certainly have seen at top eight these events before. I guess the
Yeah,
kind of just the idea that if you play Premodern and you have the experience, that you're more likely to do well.
along with a newcomer that we haven't seen in our top eight before. I got just a up and comer from Minneapolis named Aaron Dix. He's been knocking at the door for a
Yeah.
long time, and he's finally made his way in.
Oh, I gotta get the lights up for them. I'll be yeah.
All right, I think Caleb has the higher seed. I'm not sure. We'll find out as soon as Mike gets back. He's
What's going on?
it is Caleb first. Caleb's
Yeah.
gonna duress, and he's gonna get a sulfuric vortex. It's a pretty key card for him to take as Black White Control.
Well, he does have a good amount of. Well, I don't know if a good amount. He has Exalted Angel away in the main deck to gain life. I'm trying to think if he has any other cards. You were with B-Raz when you featured Caleb earlier today, right?
Yeah, I think it. I mean, there's Gerard's verdict too, which can
Okay.
be like very critical against mono red if you play it right. All right, Peter's gonna start us off with a Jackal Pup, the ideal turn one play. The players do not have each other's deck lists. What we usually do is we have it public archetype, but not public deck lists.
I really like that. I mean, like, I I
Yeah, I
just
do too.
it feels like because usually that's known,
Mhm.
and if someone doesn't, then like
Yeah,
then at least they're at a fair ground. And then I just don't like the game feels really different when you know exactly what your opponent's playing. Like if you could just like
yeah,
look at a deck list and be like, oh, I know they don't have this card or they do have this one. It really changes the matchup, and so it's really interesting when there's still a little bit of unknown. So
yeah. And even just seeing the whole list in front of you ahead of time can put you in like a much more like overly statistical spot with it. I think All right, Caleb fired off a Gerard's verdict. Got a couple cards out of Peter's hand, and Peter added the Grim Lavamancer to the board.
yeah, so it looks like was it Lava Dart and Mogg Fanatic? Is that what was discarded,
Um,
or is what's the card above Mogg Fanatic?
I can't see it. I know Sulfuric Vortex was duress turn one, but I didn't
Oh, is that
see
the
any
Vortex?
other
Okay,
card. There's a card underneath Mogg Fanatic, and I can't see what it is.
okay.
Verdict is so good against the red deck. Like at any point early in the game, it's going to take out something that'll often be doing more than.
Yeah, you're effectively gaining life if you're taking a burn spell out, and then if
Mhm.
they are discarding lands, then you literally are gaining life. So
Even hitting that Mogg Fanatic, the Mogg Fanatic probably would have done 3 damage.
yeah,
Peter looking at a ball lightning in his hand, all ready to go. I think he's a little scared of it getting plowed.
well, I would say, I mean, typically when you have a Jackal Pup and it connects a few times, you're kind of thinking, okay, my opponent probably doesn't have a source of plowshares, but
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
it's always a big risk, or like, because that's the thing with the ball ending is it feels like big risk, big reward kind of thing. You put a lot of, well, you're like, hey, I'm gonna put a lot of weight into this one card. Well, we do have Sea Swords, but it's targeting the Grim Lavamancer instead of the Jackal Pup.
Yeah, I like that. I like that too because one, Caleb's trying to set up that exalted angel, and two, he might be getting to a point where he can start blocking the Jackal Pup anytime now. He's gonna look at Peter's hand and see another Grim Lavamancer and a Ball Lightning.
Well, it's not that bad. Like you miss a card, but here you're able to play a morph, and it's just saying, okay, the path is clear, and yeah, that Grim Lavamancer is going to come down, but you're going to have the mana available to flip up that Exalted Angel and start connecting.
Yeah. Super heads up on Caleb's part too, like, duressing, like killing the Lavamancer, duressing, looking at their hand, and they see there's no way to kill the angel. He can just run it out as a morph and take his chances on one draw step to be able to flip it. He's going to be rewarded. Flip it over. Attack for 4. We got an 18-16 game now, and I think Peter's in kind of rough shape at this point. He should be at, I think Caleb's actually like 12 or 10 though.
What?
He got hit by a ball lightning last turn.
Oh, the ball lightning. Okay. I missed that.
So yeah, he's actually at 8 now.
All right. That makes. I was gonna say like, that life total is way wrong. Curse Scroll was added, so another recurring source of damage. I guess at this point, Peter's trying to build up enough burn to take out the Exalted Angel.
Yeah. This is a new spot for both players. I think I think this could easily go because just he doesn't have Lava Dart in the art anymore, but he could have set up Curse Scroll, Lavamancer, Dart to kill all the angel.
Peter used the Grim Lavamancer to hit Caleb at the end of turn. So interesting that, and it doesn't look like he has many more cards in the graveyard. So looks like he's not interested in killing the Exalted Angel. Looks like he's trying to race, but that seems difficult, I would think. All right, Curse Scroll. Was going to write it down, but then realized, yep, I just got one card in hand. He'll name the Wooded Foothills.
Okay. So dropping Caleb to 6. Effectively 4. Cycle. Picks up a big source of plowshares here. Let's see what he does with it.
Well, he's going to start with the Exalted Angel to keep him comfortable.
Yeah. He's going to go 10-8.
I guess you could take out the Lavamancer because then there's not really... I guess, actually, with the Curse Scroll in play, you're still... Like, any burn spell is likely to take out the Exalted Angel, like a Bolt or Incinerate plus a Curse Scroll activation. So maybe the Lavamancer isn't as good. You guess you could save the Plow for a... I think Ball Lightning would be the card you're most scared of.
Peter's run out of gas in the graveyard at this point. The Lavamancer might not even be able to do anything pretty soon. Maybe he does while the Jackal Pup.
It also could come down to that the Plow could be used defensively. And use it on your own Exalted Angel just to stay alive. I mean, obviously that's the last.
And they're done that.
But
I thought keep expecting Ball Lightning every time it has 3 mana, but it's just another Curse Scroll activation.
So here was a spot that, like, if Peter had left the 2 cards in and a turn, he could have combined Lavamancer, Curse Scroll, and Mogg Fanatic to take out the Exalted Angel.
Yeah. He can... Yeah. I think Peter's just thinking that there's more draws off the top of his deck that...
Is Caleb at 6? Or is that an 8?
I think it is a 6.
Okay.
Should be at... Well, he just scrolled him.
All right, then I think it was an increment of, because it was 12 down to, I think he's at 8 or 6. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, he's making an attack that's going to knock Caleb to 3. Caleb could plow the Jackal Pup and stay at 5. He's going to do it. He knows Peter's hand is Mogg Fanatic, so that helps. You can play that Fanatic. Caleb will attack himself up to 9 and Peter down to 5. And Looks like Caleb picked up a Decree of Justice.
I could close the door.
Pretty critical.
I would say also you could just use the alternate mode and just 6 mana to make a 1/4/4.
I think the 1/1s are a little better right now. Okay. Peter is going to remove.
Yeah, Incinerate plus a Curse Scroll is going to take out the Exalted Angel.
But he's also going to lose his whole team here as Caleb makes 3 1/1s.
You could, I guess, oh, never mind. I was to say, that would only be if Caleb blocked 1 token on the Grim Lavamancer, which would be really unlikely, that you could use the Mogg Fanatic to save it. But yeah, a double block is going to ensure that the Grim Lavamancer is dead.
Not his first rodeo. He's going to put the 2 guys.
I just love the little art of like those type of blocks where you just don't allow yourself to get blown out. And I mean, it's on board, so it's something that we expect. But like, there's a lot of times I just feel like people won't block with that extra 1 to play around like a removal spell on your 1/1.
Yeah, those are kind of the big blunders that people make that they don't find out until they leave the table sometimes.
Yeah, this is position. So here, Peter's got to decide whether he wants the Mogg Fanatic to trade with a token or if he's going to deal it upstairs. And it looks like he does have it dealt. So,
and I think I like this.
The one thing, I mean, like, Peter does a pretty good job of controlling the board with a Curse Scroll, but I did see the card drawn from Caleb, and it is that Vindicate that he just played.
Ooh.
So that Curse Scroll no longer that
soldier is
option.
gonna walk.
Yeah. He's all by himself, but he might just go the distance.
Here's 4 turns to find an answer to this 1/1. Can you do it?
Yeah, the burn deck that had like every single card is like pretty live to kill a 1/1.
The 3. Get a verdict.
Well, so
he's gonna hit a land. Oh my god!
I mean, you kind of expected that it had to be a land because almost any other card I think Peter's playing in that point.
I think Peter's probably kicking himself, keeping the land. But it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. He drew Curse Scroll the next turn.
Yeah.
So if Caleb didn't have the guard's verdict, he would have been rewarded quite well for not having played the land. He would be able to activate a scroll right here.
That might have been his thought process, or just bluffing a card is another reason. So Peter down to 2, but I was to say he's got a Curse Scroll in play. But what do you feel about a 5/5 Eternal Dragon?
I think there's not a lot of cards in Peter's deck that solve a 5/5.
I think Fireblast would be his best draw, and that only would be 4 plus the 2 from the Curse Scroll. So I don't think there's.
Well, he drew a Lightning Bolt, so new life.
Okay. It's only temporary though.
Caleb is at 10, by the way. He Scuttle Scrying for 2.
Okay.
He's gonna buy back that Angel, attack for 1. He's got a Plow in his hand. Yeah, this first game looks like it's easily going to go to black-white.
Yeah, Caleb certainly has a lot of tools.
Not easy.
That match up well against the red deck, like Gerard's Verdict and then the Plows and then Exalted Angels are all nice cards to have in the main deck, where a lot of those times you see Exalted Angels in the sideboard. So that token just got obliterated. All right, well, this Eternal Dragon, the nice thing is that they come back. So here it is, once again.
This is going to be hard way out for Peter, but it's not over yet. You know, he drew the removal spell. He kills the dragon again. He's going to swing in with the pup. It's going to get plowed.
Okay.
And Peter now has triple the life total he had. Right? Dragon rebought. And he just picked a big.
I think every time that Peter's killed the Eternal Dragon, he was facing lethal. So I think Peter had to. I think chat was asking about why were burn spells pointed at the Eternal Dragon rather than at Caleb.
Yeah, he was dead to the.
All right, Morph is presented. I think so. Caleb was just doing that because it's just like a distraction, so that it's not pointed at Caleb's face because he still has the Eternal Dragon. Is that the reasoning?
I think that's probably true. I think he just wants to shut the door.
Well, because I mean, if you get an attack in with Eternal Dragon or Exalted Angel, either is lethal, and so
And he's at a life total where he's
and he had Eternal Dragon in play, so I guess I think that's the logic of he doesn't really care if the Exalted Angel dies because the Eternal Dragon is just as good in the spot if it connects. There's an Urza's Bauble, okay.
Okay. Do you think he should scroll there or just I think he should have bobbled on his turn and then upkeep scroll on Caleb's turn, right? Because now he's not gonna be able to kill the dragon unless he draws a bolt.
Okay.
And he did.
He does have the bolt.
A lightning bolt. That's kind of bananas. He's going to verdict himself.
Yep. Just to guarantee that his life total is a little bit higher. He just had one land in play, so he's at 11.
Fireblast. Okay. Oh my god. Oh, talk too loud.
So Caleb still has the ability to recur that Eternal Dragon. He's, I mean, he would need 12 mana to upkeep and play it, and he's 2 lands away from that.
I think it's. So I'm gonna fight down a little bit.
So yep.
Okay, so he's gonna scroll.
Fireblast is shown, so this is going to the face. Caleb going to 9. And with a Fireblast, he's effectively at 4. This Grim Lavamancer. Is this?
Knock him down to 7. Gonna untap. I think he's dead.
Yeah, with enough fuel, like.
Wow. Peter McGrain. What a series of draws.
800 points of damage, I think.
This.
Yeah,
is
and
that
a wild
victory for
a wild game
Peter.
to win.
What wild game one? Yeah, the mid game, that was such a crazy game. The mid game, like so many like little things that could change with each person's draw step. And
yeah, things went really quick. Like I would really like to go back and watch that game and see all because there were a ton of it seemed like really critical points and decisions that were made, and it felt like different paths could have been taken. And yeah, Peter ends up like playing a long game and winning it. And like after, I mean, I don't know how many times the Exalted Angel hit. It was at least 3 times, and there was Gerard's Verdict that gained multiple Gerard's Verdict. I think gained 6 life. So a lot of life gain for Caleb, and Peter's still able to close the door. So that was pretty awesome. I'm gonna bring up the top 8 bracket just so we can kind of go over what we're looking at. So
the only thing I think he did wrong was scrolling after playing Bauble or scrolling then playing Bauble. I think he just plays Bauble, uses the Bauble, and then during Caleb's turn he can then if he draws an Incinerate or he can like Incinerate scroll or something. You know, I guess maybe it doesn't make a difference.
Okay, so we are showing the Caleb versus Peter match, so that's the 2 versus 7. The 1 versus 8, we have Michael Phillips again making a top 8 here at Misty. He's playing the Enchantress deck again, and then he's up against Andrew Hoskins, who is on Elves. And as you mentioned before, BK, we have Aaron finally breaking through at Misty. Has success everywhere else, but here he couldn't close. I guess it was the problem. He couldn't get that top 8. Finally, Aaron's in the top 8 here at Misty Mountain. So
welcome, Aaron.
And he's playing his trademark deck. He's playing Sligh.
I feel like we should have covered that one. You know?
He's playing against Dylan. So Dylan.
What if Aaron gets knocked out in some feature match?
He had a feature match in round 1. So I don't know. So
yeah, that's true.
Dylan, he'll be up against Dylan on Elves, who I mean,
We don't feel bad.
we talk about how Elves like doesn't want to play against Sligh, but I think Dylan beat Sligh at least twice in the Swiss. So pretty interesting there.
Yeah.
And
playing my elves, my
Okay.
elf cards.
Okay.
I gave him a couple pointers for like on single cards that I'd switched from the whiskey.
he did
from
talk
the-
about a wall of roots, so that one
Yeah.
was
He was trying to play 75 Suarez, and I talked about some ledges, you know, because what does that guy know about elves, you know?
all right. And then the last match we have Ethan Pollinger. He's up against Patrick Hathaway. So those are names that I know I've seen at this tournament or at the Misty tournaments over and over. So Ethan's playing goblins while Patrick is on the Dead Guy Ale list.
Yeah, I think this might be Patrick's first top 8 though here.
Uh,
I've definitely seen him come to a few before.
If it's not his first, I think there was one tournament I feel like he was really close because I think we featured him near the end of the day. But I don't remember if this is his first top 8 here at Misty.
It looks like they're shuffling up and about ready. Go over to the sideboard. Peter's got some three price of progress on the board. He's got no anarchy, importantly. A couple flaring pains might be important. Tormod's Crypt, maybe.
I mean, you did see the Eternal Dragon. I don't know if that's
It's
the
generally
angle I
all
played,
over
but-
once the angels start rolling, but or once the dragons start rolling, but I don't know, it wasn't over that time, so
No.
maybe he doesn't need it.
Yeah,
Artie's in the chat. Artie, why don't you come out today? We missed you in your Grotog ways.
we did see Caleb playing earlier before and with powerful sideboard card. We'll see if that comes into play. He was able to close the door pretty quickly against a red deck. How many blue whites were in the room? Not to see any of them in the top 8. I think there were 2 blue white pilots.
I think there were at least 3.
Okay. Are we talking about blue white stifle knot or blue white
Blue
control?
white stifle knot.
Blue white stifle
I
knot.
saw
There were
like
more.
one. I think I saw one blue white control, but I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we could just. Well, we can't do that yet because we can't publicize the deck with. Yeah. Yeah. Caleb's got a crusher of a sideboard for red. Honestly, he's got 3 warmth and 2 copper reds.
Okay, so 3 copies of warmth. A lot of times you see like the 1-of copies and maybe have like an enlightened tutor to increase that consistency, but no, just having multiple copies of it, just much more likely that you have it in that opening draw when it's most effective. And I think I see it. I think it's there.
Yeah, I see some warmth in that hand.
I mean, it's winter, but we're warmer
warm
enough here.
colors, warm cards. That's Caleb over there. Okay, there it is.
Turn to 1.
Peter's shaking his head. Okay.
I was saying, Peter had an uphill battle in the first game and came across the games that we didn't think he was going to win. Let's see if he's able to
Yeah, I'm not going to count him out.
to beat this warmth. But
The Artie I know used to come out the night before and jam games. What happened?
all right, so Caleb gets to develop his mana. So he does have Forbidding Watchtower. Oh, circle,
How about a copper red?
circle protection red.
This is gonna end well here.
So if are you the type of person like, is this demoralizing for you that like you think it impacts your gameplay? Like, would you concede here, or would you try it? Like,
I got a curse scroll.
Okay.
I gotta go for the story.
okay,
It's gonna be hard to get the curse scroll active
I was
without
say-
giving Caleb
well,
about 8 life.
right.
At
I was
least.
I mean, obviously it's difficult. I guess like, do you get frustrated like when you're in a really bad position like this?
It can be frustrating, but it's also kind of like, well, sometimes the donk just brings in like 5 cards you can't beat.
Yep.
They want you to beat too bad enough, you know. In Premodern, I think that's the case where like if you want to beat a deck bad enough, you can really load up sideboard cards for it.
Certain decks are easier to hate out than others.
Yes.
But and Sligh, there are powerful cards, but I mean, part of the appeal of Sligh is it can be so ruthless that like if you keep a decent hand that doesn't have your sideboard cards and just thinking, well, I'll draw them or I have a decent hand otherwise, you can just punish people for being super quick and punishing. But
yeah, Slide's kind of like a combo deck in a lot of ways. Like your first game is going to be a lot better than your second game. You know.
Yep. All right, so
Disenchant's gonna
get pointed at the square scroll, and Peter's going to spin the wheel. All right, we get to use our tokens, and is that shock?
He's naming shock.
Okay.
Oh my god!
There's a shock.
Hey! If I were Peter, I would concede immediately after this. Like just to show him, just to let him know.
This might be like the the only point that Caleb's below 20 this game.
Or some Peter can't catch a break.
Yeah, Caleb's just looking to develop his mana, and if this game drags out, then
Caleb also Caleb's in a rough spot too. He can't cast this Gerard's Verdict because it's gonna take red cards out of Peter's hand, then it's gonna gain him life.
I guess so. One of the times, like if you're playing against Circle Protection Red with the red deck, a lot of times you wait for the game to go really long, and the idea is your opponent really can't do anything, and they're not utilizing their mana, and you do a lot of stuff at end of turn, and then untap and play a bunch of spells. Well, the problem is when there's a warmth in play, that avenue is not an option because they're going to gain life every time you cast a bunch of spells. So
now warmth is a card you could normally beat with Sulfuric Vortex.
Yeah, but
once they get the cop red down,
yeah,
that also is not a very open. I think these two enchantments in play. I don't think there's a way out for.
I mean, it would involve anarchy if it existed, but. There's Flaring Pain, right? Like that's a card in his list. But the problem is warmth.
Yeah.
I guess you would need price of progress.
Warmth's a big problem. Warmth is a rough.
Right. Peter's gonna look to his options to see if there is a game plan he can develop. So when we see a lot of burn, okay, Caleb's gonna tap out.
Discard a Flaring Pain.
Flaring Pain gets discarded, but Caleb now has a clock. I mean, one thing is that the Circle Protection can't protect your creatures against burn spells, so Peter, at the cost of Caleb gaining some life, he could remove those.
Yeah. Good luck winning with those two soldiers.
Ooh.
Well.
Is this ever something that Caleb is just like, all right, let's play this game. Let's see how this goes. I guess
that's the last 2 life you'll gain, Caleb.
I guess if it shuts off warmth, I think Caleb would try and get rid of this if he could.
It does shut off warmth.
I know. I'm saying, yeah, because it does. Like,
yeah. All right, one enchantment has been handled.
Okay.
Now we just need to get a few more things to line up.
So Caleb does pay the 2 to prevent the Sulfuric Vortex damage during the upkeep.
13 to 20. Is
there an Astral Slide in? Is that what that was, or
no he doesn't have that card.
Okay, I was saying that's exciting, but
anyway, that's how you're gonna win, Caleb.
I was saying that's gonna deal 2 damage to Peter, but nope. Vindicate targeting the Sulfuric Vortex will take it out.
He's not having any of it. He's like, I had you this turn.
All right, Peter's just going to discard. I guess you can't even point it at one of the soldier tokens because it still gains life.
Nope.
I guess in response to the Vindicate, maybe that was the time to use some of the burn spells at the tokens.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it would have made a difference.
It's too hard. He never says die. That's our Peter. He give up last game and he won.
Yeah. I don't know if the same fate will be for this game, but this is the trifecta of anti-red cards.
Yeah, that's gonna help too.
All right, Peter's gonna look. He's gonna think for a little bit. I think he'll be packing it up soon. I guess you might point some burn spells at the Exalted Angel, and stick it around a little longer. But no, he's finally calling it quits now. We're gonna go to a game 3, and we'll see if the sideboard cards show up, or if Peter's gonna be able to be ruthless and brutal and take Caleb out. So.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to go check on the status of the other matches and try and get a quick update on those ones. So I will be right back.
All right, and it looks like neither player making any changes. Not a lot of like variation, I think, in their board plans. Yellow is pretty clear anti-red cards he's bringing in. Peter doesn't have a lot for this matchup, I didn't think. Kind of just trying to get around a cop red with flaring pain and the additional warmth really makes that rough. But he's on the play now, and anything can happen when you're mono red. Tomatowski, I'm not going to call this deck PDGA.
All right, we got some updates.
Caleb let me know that Fran Pavlushik stole this deck from him, like while he was staying at his house, and claimed it for his own.
This deck?
Yeah, this black-white deck.
I remember him talking about that.
This is a 100% Caleb Durward creation.
When
Fran has no part of it. Neither does this Tom Matelski upstart, who's in our chat right now.
Is that what he's trying to claim that he had it? I do remember when they came here, they were playing for a bit, and I think this was one of the decks that Caleb was trying.
I did see. I might have seen a message from Fran earlier.
All right, so results on the other matches. All the other matches have concluded. So, we'll go through. So,
we picked the right one then.
Yeah, I guess so.
Maybe.
So
I guess we could have seen part of one match.
We had Andrew.
Tell me, Aaron and Dylan last.
All right. So, Andrew Hoskins was up against Michael Phillips, and Andrew Hoskins won 2-0 against Michael Phillips. So, Elves defeated Enchantress.
I think that's kind of normal, right? I think Enchantress is kind of rough.
Yeah, I would say like the Elves deck is going to be able to do the thing like the prison elements of the Enchantress deck don't really line up well against the Elves deck. So then on the other side of the bracket, Ethan Pullinger was playing Goblins against Patrick Hathaway on Dead Guy Ale. Ethan took it down 2-1. He said he defeated a Circle Protection Red and 2 Engineered Plague.
Ooh, that's Goblins for you.
And then we have Aaron Dix that's playing Sligh against Dylan Kramer on Elves. You ready for this, PK?
All right. I'm ready. Whatever happens, I'm happy.
Aaron won 2-0.
Okay.
So Aaron in the Sligh deck is advanced to the semifinals. So
we're not going to give him a match until he makes the finals, though.
We're not going to what?
We're not going to give him a feature until he makes the finals. All right, maybe we'll cover it next round.
All right, so we have Peter on the play, trying to see if look what he's going to start off with. I mean, he's looking for Jackal Pup.
Yeah.
But this is the type of matchup where it might be less about the initial pressure and more about like if you have a card like
Yeah.
Sulfuric Vortex. I guess Caleb just I feel like he has enough cards that interact with it, like the Duresses and the Disenchants and the Vindicates, that even if you're relying on a card like Sulfuric Vortex, it might not be enough.
I still think you need Pup more than anything.
Okay.
Like Pup's just gonna get early damage in. It's gonna make Caleb tap mana on his top red. Put pressure on that. It's gonna get around warmth for him. It's just the best card. Yeah.
So Caleb's gonna mulligan. I didn't see what he was looking at, whether it was a lack of an element or maybe just the quality of cards weren't good enough.
The thing about calling this deck playable dead guy ill, which is what PDGA stands for, is I don't think this deck is very dead guy ill-esque. It doesn't. There's no like.
I always thought the dead guy ill, yeah, it had some creature element to it.
No the dark confidence have been cut. Kidding. No Nantuko shades, no dark rituals. Where's the bad mana base that tries to play 2 colors with wastelands on 22 lands?
Yeah.
None of those cards.
Yeah, no shades, no hypnotic specters, no ritual. Looks like Caleb's going back now, looking for 5 cards. All right.
This is no Gabe Farkas deck. That's all.
Yeah. I like Caleb in this matchup. I feel like he has a lot of tools. I don't know with 5 cards if like that seems pretty punishing.
It is, but when you have cards that are so powerful out of your sideboard, I think it makes sense to, if you don't have a hand that you are really like, just like taking a shot at
finding one of those cards.
Yeah, finding like a warmth or a cop red is going to do this. Be so much more valuable than.
I would be a lot less excited if it were a circle protection red if you're mulliganing to like that few resources, because a lot of times it's like you're either short on lands or something, and then you can't spend your mana.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so Caleb finds a suitable hand.
Peter sees a decree of justice. Aaron's got Pyroclasm in his board. That's pretty good for the elf matchup.
Yeah. All right. So I see there's some removal in Caleb's hand, but I guess without warmth coming down on this turn, he doesn't have the Haymaker. It looks like a reactive hand. He's got an Engineer Plague, a Smother, and then a Decree of Justice is what I've seen.
I thought he had a warmth. I guess it was a decree.
Yeah, I think that was the card that Peter had seen with the Urza's Bauble.
He looks a lot like a worm. Peter not really having a beatdown draw either, though.
Yeah, so not really punishing the. Well.
There's a Sulfuric Vortex. Don't forget that 2 damage, Peter says. The edgier play from Caleb.
What are you naming there? Elemental or human or?
I'd say elemental.
Protection against ball laning. I guess you don't want to name human because you have Decree of Justice, right?
You named ball laning? That's not working.
He gave up. He tried.
It's elemental. I'll bet $1.
Or donuts.
Oh. $1 to donuts. That's an element.
I say otherwise it would have to be. Is there another creature type for Lavamancer? Is it wizard? Because if you name human, then it shuts off your Decree of Justice tokens.
I don't think you want they're just soldiers.
Oh, they're just soldiers. They're not human soldiers. They're not errated.
I guess I don't know.
Well, I was because like every like actual card that is a soldier is like if it's humanoid, then it's now human soldier.
Maybe it's Live Guy Ale.
Oop. Elemental.
Elemental.
Should have named Jackal. Just kidding.
This planes kind of look like warmth sometimes. Too.
Everything's warm.
Everything is.
Okay, casting Gerard's Verdict.
Yep. And Peter's gonna discard a ball lightning.
I don't think he's too upset about discarding that ball lightning.
Yeah.
But then Price of Progress was the other card discarded, and that one has a lot more potential.
Well, not right now though.
Yes. Yeah.
We got 15-14 now. Here comes Jackal Pup. It's going to get smothered.
But not a Santa Claus Christmas mother. I'll note that, right?
No. He failed to win in that.
I'm making a reference to the raffle that we had earlier.
Yeah.
Some of the altered cards that were Christmas themes.
Mike made some ace raffle prizes.
All right, we see Curse Scroll that revealed a Flaring Pain at end of turn, and Caleb's life total is quickly going down.
I like the centralized best.
All right, Decree Justice is going to attempt to make 2 tokens. Caleb's going to get an extra card, but then he's going to fall to 5 because of the Sulfuric Vortex. He's able to deal a little bit of damage, but if this Vortex doesn't get off the board, I think that Caleb's going to have a hard time coming back because a lot of his ways of stabilizing, I guess other than Circle Protection Red, that could be a card that he could find. So Engineered Play comes down. Peter shows a shock, and that means that there's just nothing that Caleb has. He's dead on the next turn.
And it's a very red top 4 here. We got 2 Sligh decks, Goblins deck, and Elves.
Okay. Oh, I mean, if I'm an Elves player, I'm not happy to see that. None of those matchups I'm happy to see. So we do see Peter advance. He's able to defeat Caleb in his black-white control deck, which was pretty cool. I think the times we saw it, it looked like it was pretty well oiled. I guess like it
was kind of like a Dead Guy Ale deck, only playable.
Yeah. I will say we didn't talk about it as much, but like the Secluded Steppes and the Barren Moors I think are nice that you're able to just have a little bit more velocity if just so you're not flooding all the time, because you do have the long-term advantage. Like if you're able to get Exalted Angel plus Phyrexian Arena, that's a great engine. But
yeah, the deck's always had a big problem of having like inconsistent draws.
Yep. All right, we're gonna take a short break as we get our semifinals set up. And I can just get some stuff organized on my end, but it won't be very long before we're started and continuing on with our coverage of our Misty Mountain Finals. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back.